The Blount Mansion downtown was built in the late 1700s. It was home to William Blount, who signed the U.S. Constitution, and it is Knoxville's only National Historic Landmark. That's a pretty impressive history. Michael Jordan is with us at Blount Mansion to talk about how the space is going to be transformed this weekend. Hi, Michael.
Hey, Emily, how are you?
Good. Why don't you start by telling me, where are you?
I'm in the great room at Blount Mansion, and this is my favorite space. As I step away, you can see we've got this wonderful table set for dinner and the big portrait of George Washington. If there's one room in this whole complex that says Blount Mansion, it's this room.
And it just looks normal today, but everything's going to be transformed this weekend. What's going on with the Halloween tours?
I like to think it looks extraordinary every day, but you're right, it looks like a normal history tour day. We're going to be blacking these windows out. We'll have some creepy flickering candlelight everywhere, and the mansion will be festooned with, let's say, ornaments of death from the past, because we find that we don't have to tell ghost stories to be creepy. Ordinary life 100, 200 years ago and the way that they lived with death in ways that we don't today, just telling those stories is enough to send a chill up your spine.
What kind of challenge was it for you to put this together?
Well, fortunately, we have volunteers who make it possible for us to do everything we do. We have one key volunteer named Stacy Olfey, who has made herself the boss of our Halloween program for the past few years, and she knocks it out of the park. She's going to be dressed in Victorian mourning with a heavy black veil over her face. She will greet you at the door and bring you in and tell you about the funerary customs like sitting up with the dead, or even the really outlandish post-mortem photos of the late 19th century. And this is where when photography was new and you would lose a family member, it might be the only chance you got to get a picture. So we have this whole room full of photographs of families, and we will challenge our visitors to tell who's alive in the picture and who has passed. And it's a lot harder than you might think.
There are some COVID rules in place.
We're going to limit the number of people. There'll be, at this point, no more than 20 people per tour. We'll spread them out. And the number one rule, which shouldn't be too hard since it's Halloween, is you've got to wear a mask. Now, I'm not wearing one now to do this interview with you, but during the program, even our volunteers will have masks on. So we're insisting on that.
For people who can't get a spot, how can they enjoy the Blount Mansion and all its history after this weekend?
Well, we've managed to stay open since around June 1st. We're open Wednesday through Saturday, slightly fewer days and shorter hours than usual, about 10 to 2 every day, just because not all of our volunteers could come back, and they're the ones who make everything possible. But we're here. It's always advisable to call before you come just to make sure we have a volunteer that day. But Blount Mansion is wonderful in any season, and when you stare out these windows, it's almost like you're looking back in time, even as you're surrounded by the skyscrapers and freeways of downtown. So if you can't join us for Halloween, please come see us. For any weekday, we'll be glad to show you around and tell you how Tennessee started right here in Knoxville.
Michael Jordan, thank you so much. The Blount Mansion, it is a historic gem right in the heart of downtown Knoxville.